Okay, quick video to do the remaining material for today. So I told you when I introduced you to the trig identities, sine over cos equals tan and cos squared add sine squared equals 1, that there would be more identities for you to remember. Now, I also said that you can derive those identities by looking at the original ones. So if we divide everything by cos squared x here, we would get this, sine squared over cos squared, add cos squared over cos squared equals 1 over cos squared, which simplifies to tan squared add 1 equals sec squared x, so there's a new identity. Dividing by sine squared x in a similar way, we get 1 add cot squared x equals cosec squared x. And there's your second new identity. Now, just like in questions, we would normally use sine squared equals 1 minus cos squared or cos squared equals 1 minus sine squared to help us get along with the question. Here it's the same. We might have to substitute tan squared is sec squared minus 1 or cosec squared minus 1 equals cot squared. So learn them, but you need to know the rearrangements as well. So looking at this then, cosec squared x equals 1 add cot squared x, sec squared x is tan squared add 1, and that straight away simplifies to what I need it to simplify to, because the ones will cancel. Make sure you use brackets, be careful. Look to the right hand side to get an idea of the sort of thing you might need to be doing. Okay, so here, cot x minus 1 all squared. Now, you've not got brackets on the right hand side, so my first thought would be to expand the brackets and see where we're up to. And when I do that, I get a minus 2 cot x. Now that forms part of my answer. So most of the time, not always, if you do a few steps and you get some of your answer, then you should be on to a winner. Now, minus 2 cot x is in the answer, so I'm looking at the cot squared x add 1 to try and get to, I'm using the rest basically to try and get the cosec squared x, and cot squared x add 1 is equal to cosec squared x. So we get to that answer straight away. Turn over then, just ignore that. It's now using these new identities to solve equations, which you should be okay with, really. So I've got a tan squared x and a sec x. So this is a squared example, and so you want to reduce. The general approach should be trying to get the equation to all be the same type of trig ratio. Here it will be sec x, because we couldn't really do anything with that to make it a tan, but we can do something with this to make it a sec. And so here we are, and then expanding it, and we've got a disguised quadratic now. Our solutions though will be for sec x and sec x, and so we need to remember that sec is 1 over cos, and so cos sec x equals 3 would go to cos x equals a third, sec x equals minus 1 would go to cos x equals minus 1, and we solve for our domain. All right, now second one's, this next one's the same, similar sort of thing. We've got a cosec squared and a cot x, so is there something I can do to the cosec squared to get me to the cot that would be in terms of cot? And yep, cosec squared is cot squared x add 1, so we can write it like this: expand, simplify, factorize or solve, and then we get solutions for cot, which we would want to be using solutions to tan, and then we solve for our domain. All right, I'll set you some work based on all that. Don't forget your homework due for Monday. Okay, so I want the evidence of the notes, evidence of your independent study, and then for Monday, your homework. Okay, thank you.